Alright, hey, it's your boy Mizix coming back at you with another one. I really wanted to talk about what was going on with Cyberpunk 2077 and CD Projekt Red. So it's really, yeah, it's a pretty sad situation, I guess, because it was like the biggest, most hyped up game of the year. I was looking forward to it. All my buddies were looking forward to it. Everyone's looking forward to this game because it was supposed to be huge. CD Projekt Red made The Witcher, and they did not disappoint with that. They've got a really good reputation within the gaming community, so I really wanted to recap the events before I get to where we're at today. So basically, about a week before launch, it was discovered that they were kind of being fishy with their review copies. Normally, when a major publisher is making a big game like this, they're just giving out review copies out the wazoo, you know. They're like Oprah giving away review copies. You get a review copy, you get a review copy. Everyone they know, everyone they can get in touch with, you know, is getting a review copy. So except this one was different. So CD Projekt Red was only giving out like less than a dozen review copies to independent creators. So obviously, like all the big mainstream places got it. You know, Polygon, IGN, the GameSpot, all those mainstream publications. They got their review copies. And then there's only like less than a dozen people, like independent YouTubers, who got a review copy, which is kind of odd. And then the other odd thing about this review copy is that you weren't allowed to record it. You could only take screenshots of the gameplay. So that's a little concerning, right? Normally, if you're going to make a huge game like this, you would want all the press and coverage you can get about it so that as much people can buy it. Because part of it is the hype train. When everyone's talking about something, it kind of is exponential in the way that it grows. And so that was a little odd, right? It's pretty concerning when, for a digital media like this, right, where it's video and audio, you really need a video to interact with it. And old school articles, you know, where you read it, aren't really that popular. They're not nearly as popular as just like watching the video to understand video games. So the screenshot didn't really impact the old school traditional games media, you know, like GameSpot and IGN, those people that I'm talking about, you know, because they type out the article, they put some screenshots in, and then it doesn't really impact them. But for like independent creators on YouTube or whatever, not being able to record the game is like a pretty abnormal thing. Like you would expect to be able to record a video of a video game, right? So that happened before. That was pretty odd. And then also one last thing about the review copies, they were all on PC. There were no console review copies given out. So inevitably, as you'd expect, pretty much the console version is not quite unplayable, but it is not what you would expect of a fully published AAA game, right? There's a bunch of bugs, a bunch of textures just aren't loading properly. There's many glitches, too many to count. There's entire compilations if you want to look one up. And really the game is not as polished as it should be. It should have been delayed again, essentially. Is the game wasn't ready to come out on console, right? So CD Projekt Red they're coming under fire, right? Obviously, because they released the game for console and the game just doesn't work. So it's been delisted from the PlayStation Store and it's coming down from the Xbox Store. They're giving out refunds to people who want it. And they're going to work on it, right? The PC one works just fine though. So all my friends are on PC. I play on PC. Yeah, PC. If you're not playing on PC, what's wrong with you at this point? In this day and age, you should be playing on PC, right? And it's really designed for high-end PC gaming hardware. So they're getting sued now because, you know, class action lawsuits coming up, obviously, because they basically sold a game. I don't want to say they scammed a bunch of people, but essentially they did not deliver on what they had promised the product to be. But the odd thing is that this is sounding a lot like what Bethesda did with Fallout 76. So Fallout 76 was like way worse than this. And by the way, I'm not like defending the actions of CD Projekt Red, right? Like should absolutely be sued for delivering this false product, at least on the consoles, right? Because on the consoles it just does not work as as promised. So I'm not defending that. They definitely should have at least delayed it on the consoles, but I'm sure that's kind of where the big money is a bunch of console players, and around the holiday season, you know, this is like the most hyped game of the year. So you know, if you're gonna get one game, you're probably gonna get this, but then you're also gonna probably get some others if you buy more than one game. If you buy more than one game, you're probably getting this game, right? So that's why there's probably a huge push to get this game out before then. So if you look at what happened with Fallout 76, that was about 2 years ago. Bethesda released it, and it was in like a way worse condition than Cyberpunk. There was no way that you could possibly play Fallout 76, let alone like just not play it on certain consoles. Like that would be different, but you just couldn't play it at all. So you know, that's where I'm a little weirded out. So I was looking into it, right? Because I'm like, man, there wasn't this much backlash at Fallout 76, and that was released in a way worse of a state than Cyberpunk was, right? At least Cyberpunk on PC with good hardware, it's completely fine. Yeah, I haven't had any issues with it. My friends haven't had any issues with it. Everyone I've talked to, they don't even have like super good hardware. I got a few friends who got like really good hardware, and I got some other friends that got some mid-range hardware, right? And none of them have had like any game-breaking issues, right? So there was that one issue where if you have too big of a save, like if it gets above 8 megabytes, then it gets corrupted, which is horrible, right? Needs to get fixed. Like then it needs to be fixed the day it came out. That needs to be on like the next hot fix. But what I'm kind of was wondering, like, why was CD Projekt Red getting taken down, getting hunted in the streets way worse than Bethesda was, right? When Bethesda did something way worse. So I was looking into it, right? And it looks like, so before the game even came out, this was months ago. Maybe I should have started with this, but they made like that wasn't even like a trans joke, right? But they made like a post that said "mix it up," talking about like mix up your gender or whatever. And you know, the mainstream media has been all over them since it doesn't fit in with like their progressive culture or whatever. So I really think that's where a lot of this is coming from. Obviously, I'm not like they should be giving out refunds for the console games, but like there was not this much outrage towards Bethesda when they did something way worse, and I thought it was pretty weird because obviously it was way worse. There should be way more outrage, right? But that's not what was going on. So I think what happened is that essentially like the mainstream media, the same ones that got the review copies, by the way, I thought that was pretty weird. Polygon hit them. They ran basically a hit piece on them for their whole mix it up poster because they were talking about, oh, you could like change your gender or whatever, and then they also ran another hit piece on them because you couldn't like change your pronouns willy-nilly, or you know, you couldn't even change your pronouns. Like if you choose to be a dude, you're a dude, right? Like that's how it is. And then if you choose to be a chick, you're a chick. But they didn't like that. They thought you should be able to look like a dude and have everyone think you're a chick or something, right? So I think that's really what a lot of this has come down to, is that these outlets that didn't like them to begin with are gonna make them look even worse than they were, you know, just so that, I don't know, they could try, and they didn't like them, so they're basically trying to hurt them as much as possible, kick them while they're down, essentially. So I think that's what's going on, because I thought it was pretty weird, because I know that Bethesda did this too, and they didn't receive as much hate this quickly. Also, they didn't get their game delisted, even though their game was like way worse of a state than Cyberpunk is. So I thought that was pretty weird. I think the only reason it got delisted is because Cyberpunk's giving out refunds anyway, so they kind of acknowledged it. Whereas Bethesda, they were fighting people like tooth and nail that their game was not broken, right? So let me know what you think. Obviously, hit me on Twitter. Obviously, you should hit me on Twitter. That's all I got for you today. Peace.